Hey, you guys, this is your girl, Coach Ebony Nicole, the Vice President of the Rochester Black Authors Association. And we are here again with another podcast episode for the Rochester Black Authors Rock podcast. And as always, y'all already know, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram and Facebook, as well as on Spotify and Anchor, so that you can be in the know of when all of these great authors drop. Also, make sure you share these different posts that you see, the different audios, the different videos. Make sure you share and let other people know so other people can know about these amazing authors. So today, because I'm all about bragging rights. You need bragging rights when you become an author, because a lot of people think about becoming an author, they think about writing, but they never actually do it. So once you do it, for me, you cannot brag about it. So today we have a mama and baby, or not, she's not a baby. She's not a baby. We have a mama and daughter duo who have written, published, and released a children's book. And so I want you to take it away. Tell us who you are and where you are from.
Sure. So my name is Cindy J. Cadet, and this is my daughter, Abby Cadet. We actually live in New Haven, Connecticut, and we are children's authors. I started the journey back in 2011 when she turned one. Initially, I was trying to create a keepsake for her and to have something to add to her home library, because as I was shopping around when I was pregnant, I couldn't really find any children's books that had characters that she would be able to relate to. So initially it was just going to be, a first birthday present / keepsake. And then the word got out and I turned it into a series, and we've been writing ever since.
So you released the first in 2011 and you've been going since then. So over 11 years now.
Yeah, it was
How
10 years in December.
so how many have you released so far?
Okay, so we have two series. Both of our children's series are family centered, but it's in different ways. The first series is more so family adventure, friendship adventure, and then our second series, which we released in 2020, is more centered around family topics that have to do with separation, divorce, family conflict, and we're working on our third book for the series, which is going to be introducing a blended family. So we are kind of covering all kinds of family related topics in different ways, because when I first started writing, I was happily married on my way of, starting my journey as a mom, and then life happens. And so unfortunately I got divorced, and then the pandemic. So I initially started in 2011. My first release was in 2011. My second one was in 2013. The third book came out in 2016. And then I went through divorce in 2017. So I took a break. And then in 2020, we were all home, and I actually joined I actually joined a Facebook group that had other authors in there, and the group was phenomenal. And so my daughter and I decided to collaborate, team up, and we have over 20 journals, workbooks, a coloring book, and two different children's book series. So by the end of this year, we'll have a collection of 35 books, journals, workbooks. Yes, we're trying to do it all. We're very excited about our collection.
Oh my goodness. Now let me just say, when people see this video, they'll see my shock and awe, and a good shock and awe. Okay. But for those who will listen through the audio version of it, my mouth is like literally open. Like, oh my God. 35?
Yeah. And
30, that is commendable. I don't think I have any author friends in my sphere that has 35. I have one, she has 50. Her name is Katrina Thompson. I believe Katrina has about either 13 or 15 books. So 35. Oh my God.
Thank you.
Okay. So
And
what?
20 of them
Oh,
came,
go ahead.
I was going to say 20 of them were birthed in 2020. Like we, especially with the journals, we just got to work. Like I said, that Facebook author group helped me to switch gears, put my author hat back on and get back into the game. And we were knocking out those journals. And so we are very proud about the collection that we've created. We have different types of journals. We have workbooks, we have coloring books, and we have our two different series, like I said, about family-centered topics.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like I'm not doing enough. Okay. I need to step up my whole game. Okay. That is awesome. And it's also inspiring for other people that are aspiring authors and seasoned authors like myself to say, you know what? Let's keep going. You said you took
Yeah.
your head off due to some personal reasons and now you were inspired to put it back on. And it was
Mhm.
a great thing that you had that break because now once the hat is on, it's just, whew,
Yeah,
it's probably
it's like,
stuck. It's probably not coming off ever
no,
again.
it's not coming off at this point. I mean, we are connecting with schools. Prior to the pandemic, I would do author appearances in person, and the kids, the energy is like amazing. I've
Yeah.
actually worked with students from kindergarten to college age for the last over 15 years. So I've worked with a variety of different students, different kids. And every time I walk into a classroom to do an author appearance, they're so excited because,
Mhm.
especially, we're in the inner city, so they're excited to see someone that looks like them, and
Yeah. Yeah.
they're just amazed that I'm a mom and an author because they're always like, you have a kid. What's her name? How old is she? So they got to see her this year. So I'm really excited
Aw.
about that.
So, honey, let me ask you, how do you feel about being a youth author? What does that feel like for you?
It feels good.
It feels good. And so,
Yeah.
what would you say to other kids around your age who are like, I really want to write a book, but might be a little shaky or weary about it? What advice would you give them?
Don't give up.
Don't give up. And listen, because sometimes life happens and it can bring you to a place that's like, you know what, I don't want to keep going. But not giving up, if they don't, then they'll be like you and your mom have this beautiful catalog of ideas and different ways of expressing yourself through reading, writing, and reading and writing, and be able to express themselves and learn and be encouraged through their own by watching people that look like them do something and they know from there it is possible. So thank you for being an encourager to other kids because one of the things that you said, Miss Cindy, was when you were looking for books to put on her bookshelf, you didn't see characters that she would be able to relate to. I think that in the last 10 years, seriously, in the last 10 years, that has shifted. And it's great
Yeah.
that you saw it then
Mhm.
because as time has gone on, more and more authors, Black authors, have noticed the same thing and are jumping into the genre of writing children's books just for our kids. So
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I believe representation is very key, very important. And it's important to see our children in adventure and having fun and exploring the world. And that was my original idea, was to show, because there was books about our hair, and it's important to talk about our hair and our history, but it's also important to see kids having fun and developing friendships and having family time with their mom and dads. And so I wanted to have a spotlight on healthy Black families doing things together, traveling, experiencing, understanding different cultures and stuff like that. So I think that's very important. And now that I've had my own life transition, I think it's important to have books that can help start the conversation with parents and their children, because sometimes it is hard
Yeah.
to get answers from kids. They give one word answers, they're kind of timid, and so having books and resources to start the conversation and helping kids to process their emotions, process their feelings, and being open, because a lot of times children, especially when I was growing up anyway, were seen and not heard. And
Yeah.
that's something that we need to change in our community for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if you only want them to be seen and not heard, you're stifling them
Hmm.
with their voice. You're taking away their voice. And so when they
Definitely.
become adults, they're not talking. And it's
Hmm.
because they have a lot to say, but growing up they were told not to talk.
Hmm.
So I think that's awesome. I absolutely love how you said you are taking these different topics that happen in the home, like how you handle divorce and family conflict, because a lot of people, even adults, don't know how to handle those things. So I
Hmm.
think is this absolutely wonderful that you are giving parents a tool as an opening to have a conversation with their kids. So like if a mom is going through divorce, something that you had gone through, there are a plethora of emotions that she herself is going through but may not recognize it with the child. But with the book, it's like, okay, here are some books. Let's read these. Let's talk about them. This is what this character is going through. Can you relate to this in any type of manner? So it opens up and it gives the parent, mom or dad, the opportunity to dialogue with their kid.
Definitely. And I actually just started my co-parenting journey as a co-parenting coach because like you said, it's important for parents to be able to process their feelings and understand that putting their child's emotions and needs before their own is important because separation and divorce can leave a very lasting, sometimes negative effect on children
Yeah.
for their whole lives.
Yeah.
And some parents are not aware of their actions, how it affects their children. So
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about being I am a parent educator. I've been certified as a parent educator with Circle of Security to
Mhm.
help with secure attachments, and I'm a relationship coach. So I'm very family oriented, and I
Mhm.
love family, and I love to help build a foundation. Whether the parents are together or not, there is always a way to come together so the child understands that they're loved and
Yeah.
that they're
Yeah.
supported and that there's a united front.
Absolutely. Because the one last thing you want them to do is feel like mom and dad don't love each other, so that means they don't love me. So it's
Hmm.
great that you have, even with your co-parenting. Now, you mentioned, I have never heard of this. You're a co-parenting coach? Is something
Yes,
like that?
yes.
What is that? Because did that, I'll just ask this. Did that come from the books that you have written and that was inspired based off of the books? How did that work out? What is that?
Yes, so that is something that was birthed from the books because as I talk to parents about the book, I've realized that there is a need for I work with women, especially women who are dealing with challenges, whether it be with a challenging ex or just doubting their own mom abilities and wondering, if they're doing enough or if they're showing up for their child the way their child needs them to be. So I've been working with some women, and we're talking about their own, childhood. Sometimes we need to dig deep and break some of those family patterns, family generational curses, in order to do better for our children, because our
Mm-hmm,
children
mm-hmm.
need the best version of ourselves to show up for them.
Absolutely. And then when you are in that place as a co-parenting coach, that thing that is absolutely beautiful because some people don't know. Like, and this is why I tell people, I've been asked many times, how do you become a coach? How do you become a coach, a writing coach, a publishing engineer? How did you do it? I saw a problem, and instead of dwelling on the problem, I became the solution.
Absolutely.
And so I love how you saw a problem with co-parenting because a lot of people don't know how to do so, with just separate your feelings and just focus on this beautiful child or children that we have here. We got to come together for the benefit. We came together for the benefit to create them.
Mhm.
Now let's stay, and our not stay together in a sense that we are a couple,
Be
but
a
let's
united
stay,
front,
yeah,
a
yes,
united
like you
front.
said, a
Yeah.
united front for the
Hmm.
sake of this child or children so that they can have that healthy foundation that's not cracked or fractured. So yeah,
Definitely.
co-parenting coach, that is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And I strongly believe that in our community, there are some some negative patterns that once you become divorced, you guys are like arch enemies, and that doesn't have to
Enemies,
be the
no.
case. Yeah, that doesn't have to be the case at all. It shouldn't be the case, because we do need to be a united front, whether we're living in the same household or not.
Yeah.
Being able to come together peacefully and showing children, because parents are our children's first teachers,
Yes.
and they learn their relationship skills, life skills, and all kinds of different skills from watching their parents. No matter how many times we tell them certain things, they're always watching, they're always listening. So
Yep.
it's important for us to be a positive example, and so
Yes.
they can carry on that kind of generational like so they can carry on that legacy, instead of feeling like, well, my parents, when they got divorced, they hated each other, so if I were to get married and get divorced, I should hate my spouse too, and it shouldn't be that way. Not at all.
Right, and that's what comes with that co-parenting. Coach comes in, less menness, so that when our children decide, hey, you know what, I want to get married, then they have a foundation to build
Mhm.
upon from watching their parents, although they separated, but there's still a healthy enough relationship there that they can be an example, a positive example for their kids.
Yeah,
Absolutely beautiful.
definitely.
I'm glad you did that.
Hmm.
So are any of your journals or other books based around like curriculum, so to speak, for your co-parenting coaching?
Yes. So our first two books, like I said, for our second series, the first book is called Living in Two Homes is Tough, where the characters are children and we write from a child's perspective. We want to keep the focus on the child. So
Yeah.
the first book is Living in Two Homes is Tough. And our second book is Josiah's Dilemma. What happens at home matters at school, because
Ooh.
sometimes we think what happens at home, especially in our community, what happens at home stays at home.
Stays on it. Yeah.
It can affect children on how they concentrate at school. Sometimes they can't concentrate, they can't sit still because they're worried about what's happening at home. So those are the type of resources that I use in addition to the journals, because the
Yeah.
journals are a way of, you know, there's different types of emotions, and with the way that the world that we live in now, with all kinds of mental illnesses,
Yep.
depression, anxiety, we need an outlet, and I feel like children also
Absolutely.
need an outlet. So we've come together to put together sketchbooks, because you can express yourself while writing, or
Mm-hmm.
while drawing,
Yep.
doodling, sketching, all kinds of stuff. We've come up with a variety of different journals, and we even have a journal where you create SMART goals, because it's one thing to
Ooh,
set
I
a
love that.
goal, but SMART goals is to break that goal down to make it
Yep.
achievable. So we're definitely on our way to building an empire. I
I
definitely want
see.
to leave a legacy for my baby and for her babies and generations to come.
Absolutely. Listen, we as a culture, we just our legacy extends time, but sometimes after we go, our legacy ends. So it's
Mhm.
beautiful that you are setting this up now. That's gonna go through the course of her life, your life, her life, and those that are in your lineage. So yes, hats off to you both. So
Yeah.
let me just ask this. So, well, actually, I want to have you read. You said there's a letter in one of your books. So
Yeah.
show us the cover of this book, and tell us about the book that you're going to read from. And then when you are ready, just go ahead and go ahead and read.
Okay, so this is the front of our first book in the second series. As I mentioned earlier, the title is Living in Two Homes is Tough.
Mm-hmm.
And the premise of the book is that the child is feeling confused. They're not always excited to go with dad, because they're just so used to mom and dad being together, and they're having a hard time with the separation. And she was having a hard time expressing her feelings to her dad. And so she spoke to her friends at school, and her friends at school helped her to come up with the idea to write him a letter. So she's going to read the letter that she wrote to her dad.
Oh, okay.
Dear Daddy, why did you have to leave Mommy and me? It makes me sad. We don't do anything together. How come? You always make me eat Brussels sprouts. I don't like them. Can I eat broccoli instead? I don't want to go outside and stand in the heat playing basketball all day. Can we do things I like instead? Sometimes when you send me to my room to take over the TV, it feels like you don't want me around you. That hurts my feelings. And I wish I were with Mommy. I love you, Daddy, but I wish things could change. Love, Addison.
Oh, you know what? The innocence of that letter speaks volumes. And it is also a way for any parent to give their kids the space and the opportunity to really have a conversation with them, because sometimes they may not be able to speak it, but they may be great at writing it. And for that
Mhm.
parent to see, these are the matters of my child's heart. Now, to us, Brussels sprouts and broccoli, I actually love Brussels sprouts, but Brussels sprouts and broccoli, you as an adult, you might be like, well, you're gonna eat these Brussels sprouts. It's just little cabbage. But if
Mhm.
you know that your kid doesn't like that, then accommodate accordingly.
Mhm.
And handle their
And
food.
it's still vegetables.
Yeah, it's still vegetables, but it's still to handle it accordingly. And then when she's talked about
Mhm.
how she felt, it's like when you take the TV from me, I don't feel like you want me here. It's like, how if I was the dad, I'd be like,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
let's talk about this.
And
Let's talk about
yes,
this.
and
Because I want you
those
here.
are the yeah, and those are the little things that I feel like sometimes parents, we're always hustling and bustling and going and coming, and we don't realize that children pick up on certain things and they start to internalize it.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like these are not things that we're doing intentional, and we're not even thinking, but these are things that children take and start to internalize it, and then they start to have bad feelings either about themselves or about the parent, and then there's a breakdown in that relationship.
yeah,
And once that breakdown starts at an early age, it only gets worse over time. So
yeah.
that's why it's important to start building that foundation of trust, loyalty, unity in a
Mm.
young stage. So as they get older, because there are a lot of kids who just don't even talk to their parents
Yeah,
because once they
once
get
they
to be
leave the house, that's it. Once they get out
yeah
into the world, they just sadly disconnect from their parents. So,
yeah
yeah. Well,
yeah
tell
so
us how if you got 35 books, because the one about Josiah's decision, that one sounds very interesting. Can you tell me about that one? Because I got a 9-year-old nephew, and he loves to read. So tell me
okay.
about Josiah's decision.
Okay, it's actually Josiah's dilemma,
Oh,
and
dilemma. Okay, dilemma.
yeah. So Josiah's dilemma is that he hears his parents arguing. They don't argue in front of him, but he can hear them arguing from in a different room. So he worries about them either separating or divorcing, and him having to even live in two homes because he knows his friend from the previous book how she feels about living in two homes. And when he's at school, he has a hard time concentrating because he's worried about his parents.
I'm gonna want a copy of that book because I think that'll fit right in line with my nephew and what the family dynamic is. So yes, I'm getting that book. So besides me, if anyone else is like, you know what, I want to look at their catalog. I want to see when this 35 book catalog, what's in there for me or my children or something in there for us together. Where can they find you?
We are on Instagram, Brave Kid Press, and then our website is bravekidpressauthor.com. And you can find me as a parent coach at Cindy J Cadet, which is my Instagram handle. I'm in the process of building my website for my coaching business, but
Okay.
bravekidpressauthor.com is where you'll be able to click to see the different collections. All of our books are on Amazon, and if you have Prime, you'll get it within 48
I love
hours.
Prime. Listen.
I love Prime too. Like
Yeah.
I became like Prime became my life in the pandemic. Like I almost still don't even leave the house
Next
to
day
go
shipping is
anywhere.
amazing.
Yeah.
Next day shipping. Okay, so ladies, I just want to say thank y'all so much for coming on and sharing your journey with us and just again bragging about who you are and what you do. It's beautiful because you can see your you have this dynamic and it's going to give other parents a chance and opportunity to say, you know what? Me and my kid can do this too, or me and my kids can do this too. We can write a book together. We can build an empire together. And before she even becomes a teenager, she's already a
An author.
published
Yeah.
author.
She
Like
became
when
a
you go
public
to college and write out your your
resume.
letter, you could put it by then. Oh my God, 50 plus books.
Yeah.
I'm
And she was
jealous.
9. She was 9 when she became a published author. She just turned 11 in December. And connecting with kids and giving them the inspiration to become authors and to take literacy seriously that you can be that person. Or like, you know, when Miss Cindy came to my class, she gave me the
Yep.
inspiration to want to write, to continue to read, and just to do like amazing things. Because I encourage the students to dream big, and I also try to encourage parents to, when you think about travel, you don't necessarily have to get on a airplane
Yep.
or a bus. You can go in the next town over, because different towns have different cultures, different things
Yep.
going on, different festivals. So I try to help parents to think that you don't necessarily have to get on a plane and go to Disney World to say that you've traveled with your family. There's opportunities in the libraries, especially in our
Yes,
local
it is.
library. They have passes where you can go visit museums, visit different aquariums and stuff like that. So giving your trying I'm trying to make sure that I help parents understand the value of giving your children different types of experiences so they can be well-rounded individuals.
And you are doing just that. You and your daughter are doing just that. Okay. So I'm again just thankful that y'all had taken the time out to be here with us this evening. And what I want you to do is give us your information one more time, your website, just so we can make sure we have it and people can connect with you guys. And any
Definitely.
final words?
Definitely. So we can be found on our website is bravekidpressauthor.com. Our Instagram handle is bravekidpress. And you can find me as a co-parenting coach at Cindy J. Cadet on Instagram. And my final words are to always be the parent that you wanted as a child. I feel like if parents can keep
Oh,
that
I
in the
love
forefront
that.
of their mind, it's the driving force, because no family is perfect, but if you remember your childhood and if there's something that you wish you had, or even if it's something that you did have and you want to give your children, being the parent that you wish you had or you did have is what I
Yes.
feel a lot of parents need to keep that in the back of their minds, to always put their best foot forward, show your child love, tell them you love them,
Yes.
and just be a united front for your children.
I'm all for that, okay? Be the parent you wish you had.
Mhm.
I don't know what to say after that. But to I listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't have any children yet, but that right there will stick with me
Mhm.
because some people want to give their children everything they did not have, but you
Mhm.
can give them everything and they still be lacking.
Yeah.
So yep. I love that. Well, folks, I just want to say thank you all again for tuning in to Black Authors Rock podcast. We are ecstatic that we have a platform where we can help authors shine, brag, and to detail their beautiful works that they have out here. Don't stop. If you are an inspiring author, don't give up. Keep going. Your book matters. Your words matter. And you never know who's out there just waiting to read your story. Whether it's a children's book or a self help book, a memoir, autobiography, it doesn't matter. Get it done because people are waiting for you. So, as always, make sure you follow us on Instagram at rock_BAA, on Facebook at rockBAA2015, as well as on YouTube under the Rochester Black Authors Association, and on Spotify at Black Authors Rock. If you are an aspiring author or an author, you want to be a guest on our show, you can just go head over to our website, rockbaa.org, to register, and we will bring you on so that you can shine and brag about you too. So until next time, we want to thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you for the next episode of the Black Authors Rock podcast. This is Coach Ebony Nicole, the Vice President of the Rochester Black Authors Association, and we'll see you then.